Hello again, Knights fans, and welcome to the floor here at Stratus Arena for our weekly check-in with the FDU men's basketball program. I'm Tommy Mead here, as always, with head coach Greg Herenda. Coach, the last time we're going to do this during the regular season,
True.
but the postseason is coming for the Knights. Right, a rough week last week, 2 losses, kind of the first real rough patch of the season for your team.
Right.
Did you say anything to them to kind of refocus them this week before practice?
You know what? It's a great point. I think we haven't had a tough stretch for 2 months, really. So we really have to reaffirm our fundamentals and the basics, and it gets back to we got to defend much, much better, rebound. And now what's kind of crept into our craw a little bit is taking care of the basketball. And we had, as you well know, Tom, one of the best assist to turnover ratios. Our turnover margin was great. But right now we're doing those three things not particularly well. Consequently, we lost our last two games, and going back to the last show, we lost that game as well. So losing 3 games in a row is difficult for this team because we're not used to it. We're young, and now you have to react to it. And the only way you can really combat that is going back to the simple things: catching the basketball, rebounding the basketball, and defending it. And I think we've had 3 great practices, getting ready to go down to Mount and then go into Central Connecticut. And it's amazing. You play the whole season, and it comes down to 2 games, and that's not only for us, but it's for the top 8 teams in our league. Everyone is so interchangeable. So I think everyone's gone through this tough stretch. Ours happens to be relatively late in the season, but we have plenty of time to turn the ship around, and I'm confident that we will.
Do you think there's a benefit to having such a young team that they kind of don't realize the situation, or they do realize the situation perhaps, and will adjust or readjust based on what's going to happen to them in the next couple of weeks?
You sound like you want me to figure out the stock market. I don't know. I wish if I knew the answer, but I think we have a great group. So we don't come in here crying and moaning, and at least they don't. I might sometimes, but no, this is a group that's resilient. I think you're correct. You're spot on. Our youth helps us here because these guys don't have a lot of bad habits. Our sophomores remember last year, and we have the respect of last year because we've learned from it, and now we need to get out of it. And I think at the end of the day, if we guard and rebound and take care of the ball, we're going to win games, and it doesn't matter where we are. And obviously, we're better on the road. For some reason, we can't dominate in this building, and that's something that's my responsibility. But on the road, we're 5 of 7, and so we're going on the road. So we're really happy to get on a bus, kind of take a deep breath, and get out of here and go do what we do.
Now with 2 games left, a share of the regular season title, the number 1 seed, are both still in play for you
Right.
guys. Do you look at matchups at all going in, or are you just focused on Mount St. Mary's and Central Connecticut?
Yeah, I think you have to. If you're human, you look at who's playing who, where, and why. But at the end of the day, we have to win. If we win 2 games, we're going to be in really good shape. If we win 1, I think we'll be okay. If we don't win any, then we get what we deserve. So this is really symptomatic of the entire year. And really, Tom, we've had a really highly overachieving year, but we can never appreciate it because we never made any distance from the league. So again, if you go back and say in February we've already clinched NEC conference tournament, I'd be ecstatic. But we still have a chance to win it, to be in the top 4, or to be below the top 4 and go on the road. So there's still, until that last second up in Central Connecticut, there's so many variables that you really can't look at them, because if you look at them, you need to be an actuary or somebody like that, really smart, to figure it out. There's so many possibilities.
Now, not to get too far ahead, but Saturday we are playing at Central Connecticut.
Right.
A man that you and I think, both highly respect, Howie
Yes.
Dickerman. It'll be his final game as a collegiate head coach.
Right.
What are your feelings just being part of that?
To be honest with you, and the people on the show, and I'm always honest with my players, and with you, it's really a bad game for me personally because I don't want to win it, and I don't want to lose it. So whatever happens, I'm not going to be happy because Howie has meant so much, not only to Central Connecticut and not as much to the league, but just to the game of college basketball. Howie's he's a dinosaur, and when dinosaurs become extinct, the world changes. And I don't want the world to change. I want everybody to coach like Howie Dickerman and compete like Howie Dickerman. And he's a tremendous, tremendous coach. And as you well know, Tom, being at Central Connecticut, he's an even better person. But obviously, we want to win the game. but I don't want to beat Howie in his last game. But obviously, knowing Howie, he would say, Greg, it's a game, and he's going to compete really hard, and so is my team. And I've got a lot of respect for how they've played. They've they've won 3 games out of their last, I believe, 8. I think they're 3-5, so they're more than competitive. They have had a tough run, but Howie's a legend, and that'll be a bittersweet game, one way or the other. But I just have the utmost respect for Coach Dickerman.
All right, Coach, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck this weekend. We'll catch up with you next week as we head
Yes.
into the NEC tournament.
Amen.
You can watch both games this weekend on necfrontrow.com.